Man, I got to talk about judges. I got to talk about judges. And so the judge is basically the referee. The judge is basically the referee in a courtroom. It's her courtroom inside the government's courthouse. Each time you go into a judge's courtroom, it's their courtroom. But they're the referee. And whether it's a criminal case or a civil case, the judge's powers or authority on a case really doesn't start to kick in until the parties are in trial, right? So let me explain. In a criminal case, it's the defense attorney representing the person accused of a crime against the state or the county prosecutor, the government, the city attorney, whoever is trying to throw somebody in jail or say somebody's guilty of a crime. It's a criminal defense attorney against that person. It's like two people going to battle. And then the judge is the referee in the middle, right? But at the inception of a case, the prosecutor can dismiss the case, or the client can decide to plead, and then the case is done, and the person just has to go before the judge and get sentenced. And then at that point, once the person pleads guilty, it becomes into the judge's hands. Now you're in the judge's hands. You pled guilty now. It can be confusing because you're before a judge, they set your bail, you keep going to this judge's courtroom, so you're like, what is the judge doing to me? What is the judge doing to me? It's really, again, in a criminal case, the prosecution that the person's going up against, dealing with them. That's why you hear the term prosecutorial discretion, because they have a lot of discretion. They could decide to take a case all the way to trial or dismiss it. I've seen both happen. And any attorney who practices criminal defense has seen both happen often, right? It's a wide range of discretion that they have based off a lot of different facts and circumstances in that particular case. But the judge is really just a referee. The judge is the person who's going to move the case along because they have a docket with a lot of cases on their docket, and it's their job to move the case along. But for the most part, they're not trying to interfere with the case. Now, sometimes judges have their ways of interfering and inserting themselves. It happens. But one of the misconceptions is it's that a person believes the judge is doing something to them. That's not always the case. Now, how a case moves along, that could affect a person's decision making. And it seems like the judge is doing something to them based off that. Well, in that situation, a person could be affected. But for the most part, a case is just in a judge's court. Now, let me say if it's a civil case where two people are suing each other, a person is suing somebody and then the other person decides to sue the other person back, and they're doing that. The judge, again, is trying to move a case along. He has certain things about, okay, is this case going to go to trial? I'm going to give you deadlines about certain things. We're going to argue for certain facts and issues about the case along the way, and the judge is going to be the decider of that. But again, the judge is being the referee, just calling it how the judge sees it based off the law, right? They're just, again, moving the case along. Once a trial begins and there's a jury in the box, or if the judge is the only one overseeing the trial without a jury, then even though the judge is a decision maker and being a referee, the judge has more say-so about what happens in the case, because now we're in trial and now certain things are happening. But I have clients who tell me all the time, man, the judge is trying to mess over me. The judge is doing this. No, it's not the judge yet, because the judge really doesn't know what's going on with your case. The average judge in a criminal courthouse doesn't know the particular facts of your case. In the beginning, they hear what the cop alleges happens, what's called a probable cause hearing. At least in Texas, it's called that. But 2 weeks later, the judge is not going to remember your case and not going to remember the facts, for the most part. There's always cases that a judge remembers, but the judge doesn't know all the facts of the case. It's the prosecution's case, and the defense are fighting against each other. So it's not the judge. It's not the judge. It just so happens you're in the judge's courtroom, and you're in front of the judge, and you have to appear, and you have to see the judge, so you assume. But the reality is, the judge is just a referee. The judge is just a referee. The referee.